Karina from Morgan Next Practice Marketing. I work on Next Practice Marketing to be able to help the next generation of marketers. And what is absolutely evident and prevalent today is the fact that we live in a really complex marketing landscape. And it's complex because not only are there lots of different channels and more growing every day and different ways to touch your consumer, but it's also complex because we have multiple products and services. And in general, we're trying to add more on and do more. So it's just getting really convoluted and very complex to be able to manage all of that. And that's just part of today. Beyond complex though, it's also more complicated. Now these two are related because when you have complexity, things get more complicated. So what's the difference between those two? Well, complicated is when you have more pieces because of the complexity. So what is more complicated is, say, agency relationships, where you may have 6 or 7 different agency relationships versus 10 years ago you might have had 2 or 3. It's also more complicated internally in organizations. So you may find now that you've got 3 or 4 different specialist skills just within marketing. So it's more complicated to get everyone on the same page and make sure that we're really pulling in the same direction. Now, the reality of a world which is complex and complicated is that there's often chaos. The word that I use also for chaos is spin. See, things seem to spin and spin and spin, and what should only take 8 weeks takes 15 weeks. Or what should be quite a simple thing to make happen actually becomes, long and complex and hard. And then there's often the cost associated with that, which is being late to market. Costs are higher because you've had to do things last minute. The cost of not having a great output, it's kind of quick and had to throw it out there rather than actually being something which was truly great. And I know all marketers feel this pressure. We work with clients across the industry, from the largest companies like Commonwealth Bank through to pharmaceuticals and through to other companies like ABC Broadcasting. And this is a challenge for all industries. So why am I talking to you about this? Because this, I'm here to talk to you about this because there is a way to cut through. And in a world like this, the only way you will succeed is if you're smarter. Now, how can we help you be smarter? Well, the first is when there's more complexity, you have to get better at choice. You can't do everything. You have to put your eggs in a few baskets, and you have to make sure they're the right choices. They're the choices that make the most sense. So they need to be strategic choices. The second thing is, when it's complicated, you also need to make sure that there's clarity. Clarity around what are we really trying to achieve? Clarity around who's going to do what? Clarity around what is the end goal that we're actually doing this for? Now, when you have choice and clarity, rather than getting chaos, you actually get your challenge being converted into growth, which fundamentally is what we're all here for. So I know you want this. The question is how? Well, the how comes from what we can teach you, what we can train you in, what tools and processes we can give you. And that's what Morgan Next Practice Marketing is all about. Our Morganiser Marketing Excellence program will teach you the 7 steps to going from complex, complicated chaos with high cost through to choice with clarity that means your challenge turns to growth. And I do hope you'll come along for the ride. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed this video series, then maybe you want to think about coming to one of our training programs, because not only do we go into a lot more detail around the frameworks that you've seen, we actually provide live examples, real case studies, and role plays so that you actually understand exactly how to do this back in your job. So don't delay, come and join us. We would love to see you there.